We've teased it, so you knew it was coming at some point. Someone was going to bring up this fucking G2 interview. Come on, what is your ugly point?
Oh, my ugly point is just that whole interview, man. It was just a train wreck. Like, I'm going to preface this by saying I have mad respect for anyone who will come out and try and be transparent.
Oh,
and
sure.
and,
yes.
Like, put
absolutely.
stuff out there for the public eye for us.
Well, he could have said no comment on a bunch of these things. Absolutely, yes, yes.
100%. The only thing he really no commented was like, "What are the plans for the future?" He was very like, "Oh, we have lots of options." Apart from that, he actually gave a lot of insight and a lot of like honest commentary on G2, what's been going on with the roster, you know, all the shit that's been happening. Basically, going back to like, you know, with Hoaxie on the roster and you know, getting rid of him. But I just like, he speaks well, he's relatively eloquent, he comes across as a nice guy, but like everything he was saying was just like face palm moment after another, like after face palm moment. Like, you know, what was he saying? He was saying, you know, oh, they got a bombshell dropped on them where 3 players wanted to leave at the same time, like Nico, Monacy, and Hunter. This was around when Nico was first like talking about going to Falcons. I'm like, how do you get into a position where 3 of your players spring it on you that they want to leave? Like, I don't understand how you can not anticipate at least some of this coming. He talks about feeling like Nico betrayed them when Nico first said he wanted to go to Falcons, and I'm like rolling my eyes, like, come on, brother, like this isn't like, I don't know what you think this is. It's not a kids show, like it's esports. It's a results based industry. He talks about underestimating the impact of Nico. Like, how do you?
I know it's mad, isn't it?
Like, how can you underestimate the impact of Nico? I don't understand it. And then he talks about, you know, being unable to keep Monacy, and it's like anybody could have told you that if you lost Nico, you were losing Monacy. Like at max a year down the line, Monacy was going to be gone if you let Nico go. And like, I could go on and on and on. There were so many like points in this interview where it was like, what is going on behind the scenes at G2? Like, how do you get to this point? How do you fumble like generational talents like this and then get to a point where the roster is kind of in pieces and you're left like rebuilding from the ground up? Like, I just don't get it. I think like he probably thought after that, like the interview went really well. I thought it was a train wreck, man.
I feel like the only, I mean, consistent, at least the only consistently higher up management figure that I find makes great interviews has been Jason Lake. And I feel like almost every other guy has been pretty bad. Like, I think of the Falcons ones too, alongside this one, of just like, you guys are just really digging your own.
By the way, every Zonic interview, doesn't he just kill himself every time he opens his mouth? You know?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think the temptation to go on one of the biggest podcasts in the space for Counter-Strike is too much for some of these guys, and everybody wants their own little moment of glory or moment in the spotlight.
I think also, just quickly, a podcast that you know is not going to be too hard.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's not going to tell you
that too.
Yes.
Yeah. That like usually it's pretty softball over there, and that's fine. It gets the big guests going, but then he just kind of some of the lines in this one were. Oh man, I mean,
the amount of quotables is actually unbelievable. It's fucking insane how many quotables there are.
Yeah, I mean, the focus for me was just the Taz stuff, and I feel like there was just so many things said in this that people kind of like the snack / Taz defenders now have to backtrack on the things that we were saying earlier. I was definitely saying earlier about the hires of Taz and everything, and I was like calling for. I was like, it was pretty obvious. Just Taz was like more of a cheerleader than anything, and I also think that the one thing, like when I read through between all the lines here, is that, you know, at the end of last year, Nico was upset that Taz wasn't in the 3 nominations for Coach of the Year, and I just feel like if you're always like trying to prop up your guy, but then the G2 CEO also says he was just hired as a cheerleader, it's kind of hard for me to then in the future be like, yeah, Nico, like, I'm going to trust anything you say about any of your coworkers, including Zonic, because who he's been propping up lately. Like, I get it. Nico has his team's back. Like, I want a guy like Nico on my team
that's
for a variety of reasons.
You know, when there's a bizarre thing, we're not from the world of women, so we don't have to know how this works, but there's a thing with how female social spaces work, where if one of them does like an Instagram picture where they're looking really glammed up, they'll go oh, wow, hey, Slay Queen, you look beautiful. And they automatically always just reply, you look beautiful too, even though it's like, but I'm the one, I haven't even put a picture out, and two, like, that's not true in the same way. And that's like Nico doing that, mate. He's just going, and you're great too, Taz, you as well. It's not just, oh, am I Opener of the Year candidate? It's Modesty, the Opener of the Year. You could be coach too, you know, Taz. I don't even know. But it's weird, under a lie detector, I don't believe he would pass the lie detector, Maui. I just don't believe it. Come on.
Yeah.
Does anyone really think that he thinks Taz was top 3 in the world? Come on. Really?
Yeah. I know.
I hope not.
He was top 3 in G2, which is the gag. There you go. That's the low-hanging fruit. The low-hanging fruit again, but I've harvested it nonetheless. Okay. Okay. By the way, I will say, we won't go through the whole thing, because I will say, not only, first of all, I even told Maui this before I came on, everyone who has a YouTube channel, you should literally be doing a review/react session to this interview, because it is gold dust, homie. It's just, like I said, you can't even name all the hits. Like this guy, you would have one of these lines that would have been said accidentally by someone else and taken out of context. He says all of these lines in context. The context makes them worse. The more he talks, the worse it gets. And I agree with you, Dems. Look, on the one hand, I don't want to scare people like this of, God bless, a CEO of a giant org that could literally say to all of us, by the way, I answer to like my shareholders and sponsors, fuck you, I don't care what you think, no comment, lol, let's see, and thanks for the interview. Like, they could come out and give us nothing to work with, and if he did, by the way, sadly, it would have been better for him. But in attempting to be transparent, he's been too transparent, and we've actually seen through him, is the problem. Because some of these quotables make this guy, put it this way, my conclusion at the end of this goes like this: you can pick which it is. He's either incompetent at PR, which makes him a moron, by the way, for going on a show like this and attempting to talk this way, or he's actually incompetent at his job as CEO and the trickle down of who he's delegated to, and that's why G2 is a mess in CS in the game. So you can pick which it is, but unfortunately, I feel like it almost has to be one of those two, if not a blend of column A and column B. Because the problem is, I have a backstory that other people might not know, so I'll bleed over with another piece of cross-promotion, just like I referenced Hot Take Point Made. We have a show, it's actually on like the League of Legends channel, I think. I can't remember if it's on the CS1 or the League of Legends. I think it's on the CS1 maybe, actually. I could be wrong on that. It's an industry show called The Four Horsemen, and it's me, Monte Cristo, Richard Lewis, and then the idea is the fourth horseman is a guest each time. And what we do is, essentially, it's like we're like the saviors of esports, and we're sort of like diagnosing what's wrong in the scene. And it's usually like industry topics, like financial things. So we had this guy on as a guest not that long ago, maybe like 2 months ago or something. And it was mainly, I will say, more from a League of Legends bent, because G2 is way bigger in League of Legends, obviously, in like the Kings of Europe and stuff. But this guy, it was, if you don't know, it wasn't like HLTV confirmed Demps, because I was on that show. And I'll tell you what, I have the most low tolerance for bullshit of maybe anyone ever in esports. Not least because I've been around a long, long time, so I get really jaded by like corporate speak. Like, if you notice, one thing I think about my content, I put a lot of time into it that I'm pretty good at is, I'm really good at breaking down like press releases and reading between the lines, or if someone uses a euphemism, I'll give you an example. When Heroic did this signing of all those Sangal players, but then they also signed the Nilo guy, and they were like, you will fight your way to the line. Like, that's just saying sorry to one of you 3 Sangal guys. This is that scene from The Dark Knight where he breaks the pool cue in half and says, we're having tryouts. Like, one of you isn't going to make it. We just signed 3 of you because we had to for the spot. But guess what? One of you is definitely not, because we've already literally signed your replacement. And essentially all we're counting down to is, when are we legally allowed to bring him in instead of you? So my issue is, like, I can always see when people are bullshitting. And this guy, here's the saddest thing, Demps. What he doesn't know is how different CS is and how raw the fans are. Because in League, by the way, here's what's going to blow your mind. When we had him on this show, I give him maybe the first half an hour, 45 minutes, I sort of tolerate his bullshit. I say my part, he says his part. But then eventually, I even start trying to like battle back against him, trying to like control the narrative of the conversation, or give like what I think are just bullshit answers. And I can tell you, it went really badly in League, bro. If you go read the comments on my own channel, my fucking company, it's all people hating on me and thinking I'm being mean and rude to this guy. Because in League, they are a bit more sort of like, they're a bit more childish. They just believe what, like, if so, the joke is, but he said it is going, you know, like that sort of fucking thinking. Yeah. The difference in CS is this guy, you can tell, doesn't know the CS crowd. Because I think he actually thought going on this show would do the opposite. I think he thought this would put all these topics to bed. And because I agree with you, by the way, he comes off very amiable, and he actually seems like quite a sort of like a chill guy. And by the way, his accent, if you're English, if you don't know, by the way, spoiler, but English people just like French accents. They sound really suave to us, in the same way as if you're some dumbass American yank like Maui on his fucking tractor, then I sound like the King of England, don't I, with a top hat on and a monocle? I don't, but you get the stereotype. So in the same way as bizarrely, we get like the boosts where people would even say about me back in the day, like, he's not even that funny, it's just his accent. And I'm like, bro, the joke is if you know where I come from in the UK, I sound like I should be collecting a fucking like unemployment check with my accent, you idiot. Like, I don't have the
Down
fucking...
the
I haven't got the fucking Hugh Grant accent, but sadly to an American, they think I do because they don't know the difference. So anyway, I thought this guy thought he nailed it. I'm with you, Debs. I think he actually ended that call like, nailed it. And it's like, bro, right now, everyone in CS already thinks all those people are frauds. Taz, fucking Pesa, they Huxley, all the people that were involved that they didn't like the moves from. And then also, right now, they all know G2's going nowhere and you've let all your generational talents go. So right now, the last thing they want to hear is the way he, essentially the defense he played for the moves made him look like an idiot in G2. Like put it this way, Debs, when you're saying that thing about the Nico one, he actually doubled down on the stupid take. Remember, he did a weird interview like a few months before Nico did go with HLTV where it was like, almost the gist was like, we could have kept Nico, but we don't need him almost. Like that was like the vibe, wasn't it?
It was a French interview. He'd done a French
right,
and it was translated. But yeah, he actually addressed that on Confirmed and said that he fucked up by saying that.
Oh, right.
He said it was like a mistake to have said it.
Because he definitely did, but the problem is it's all well and good saying that when the horse has bolted, man. It's already out the door winning tournaments, you know.
I'm
they just beat you in a tournament.
And he says Confirmed was a mistake.
Right. True. No, that's a good joke, but you actually should do that at this point in time.
Yeah,
no.
Just walk it back.
And then also, the Taz one is actually some of the worst PR I have ever seen in the history of esports. Because you have literally taken, this is where, like, I can tell you, Maui, he doesn't even know what haters think about Taz. Because it's almost like he just came on the show and went, Maui Snake was right. That's the opposite of what you ever want to be doing. You want that to, if it's true that Taz is only a vibes only coach, you let that go to the grave with you, brother. You don't ever tell anyone you actually did that. I wouldn't let that escape under torture in Guantanamo Bay, mate, because that destroys your whole credibility. You're hiring coaches based on vibes. That's even the literal meme about Nexa, you cretin. It means you don't even know the discussion about your own team, because as I say, you're playing into the... By the way, this is nightmare fuel if you're a G2 fan. It's like Snacks must wake up and go, I've just tried to be like generous to the mouse stick guy. Now my own CEO guy's like agreeing with this fucker. Like, so you've already hinted it completely on the Snacks one, on the Taz one. And then also the idea that like, it's the way that they handle the Nico and the Animosity one I can't tolerate, bro. Because here, I made this point on a few recent episodes, but it hasn't fully sunk in for other people. This is what you need to ask yourself about G2. It's not about why did Nico leave. What you need to ask yourself is this, right? Think about who Nico and Monesi represent. Nico is the like all-time great player, still close to the peak of his powers, who's probably got a year or two left in his thing, right? The analogy here would be like Mohamed Salah or something in football, right? That player is easy to re-sign because they're still at the peak of their powers. You know you're going to get the last end of it, right? That's a slam dunk to sign. The other slam dunk player in the scene is the young player entering superstardom, 19 years old, could have the 10 years himself of being a... These are the two players that are the most obvious slam dunks to sign and build your whole... Like, put it this way, normally I'd go even the other way and say, teams actually would do a team liquor and twist and just be like, you basically run the team, mate. Who do you want? Who do we get? What do we need? Basically, you tell me what it takes to make it so on the floor chart, you never leave my org and I always have you. Instead, you have literally let both these guys go. Now, true, the Monesi one, you bizarrely got millions at the end for it, and he kind of like financially won on that one. But even so, the idea that a 19-year-old superstar entering his prime could be HLTV top 3 for the next 10 years isn't going to be in your org. The real question is this: why does no one want to play in G2? Like, Pro G2, if you even went and asked people 2 years ago, would be considered the number one esports org in the world, definitely in the West, by the way, if we ignore like Koreans and shit. Like, this was the number one place, like, essentially you'd want to attach your brand to, and it should be the other way around, by the way. It should be that once you're Nico and Monesi, you don't have to ever worry about roster moves because you're already there. You just sit in your seat, press the mouse, and you know that the org will competently put people around you. By the way, here's the real black pill Falcons haters, like Falcons is doing right now. Nico now never has to worry about his roster. He has to just sit there and worry about headshotting people, and he knows eventually, no matter how bad the person in seat 4 and 5 is, they will transform into like Yimfat and fucking Carrigan or something, like, you know what I mean? That's real. That's the world. And by the way, that is what should have been the case for Nico Monesi though, so I'll just end on that. I agree with you. It's definitely ugly because I actually agree with, like, I actually think it could have been good, and I actually do love the idea someone tried to like be truthful in a way a politician never would in the modern day, etc. Now you would just get the no comment. But I do think it's an actual nightmare, the results of this. Like, I'm not even joking, Dems. I actually couldn't satirize this. It's so bad. Like, my jokes wouldn't be as like overtly on the nose as his own comments were like hinting this interview. It's crazy how bad it is, bro. Like, I genuinely, just as a hate watch, you've got to watch it, guys. Like, watch the whole segment. It's so good. You got to watch it.
The best part is that you know that it's like you just can't satirize it, is because the first thing he said when defending Taz was, yeah, but he's a great human being.
Oh, God.
Didn't say he's a great coach. Didn't say, just went, yeah, I love him. He's a great human being. I was like, oh my God, brother, you are the meme. There is no need to meme on you because you are the meme.
But if Debs, I've done too much low hanging fruit before. Here's where I totally redeem myself and win everyone back over to the wit and panache that only Thorin can bring. Because it's even worse. His branding is even worse than we realise. Because his alias, Debs, is Stilgar. And he can't even recognise a generational talent before him that could transform the whole space. Did you even read the book, bro? Did you even read the book? Anyway, well, not that shit movie. The actual, the Chanel Gabe. By the way, the irony of that is, I mean, he wasn't there, to be fair, it was Carlos, but they actually had Alexi B in their team and they let him go. Because that's one thing, by the way, I'm going to say that, G2. G2, you're now in the NIP category. You know how in NIP, it's not, the ultimate crime wasn't even the players they signed, it's that they didn't do it in the right order. So I always tell people, bro, they had Alexi B, Device, Brolan, and like, that's fucking, you're cooking right there. Like, you've got some unbelievable players there. The problem is you never had them all at the same time. You never put them in a team and made it work. You had Alexi B, Nico, and Monacy, and then like 3 years later, you've got none of them. Like, how did he manage that? Like, bro, you are like the kid, is the last analogy. You are the kid who went to school that first day with the Pokemon cards, and you didn't know how negotiations worked, and you left home you went back home with the cheapest Pokemon cards, no foils, and those kids fucking destroyed you on some like margin call / 2008 financial crisis level scam shit where they were like, oh, you want this one here, and they did you dirty, mate. How have you end up with nothing at the end of all that? Because that's the other thing. If you noticed how, and this is what this guy ultimately failed, the last point I'll make is this. The ultimate failure of G2 is I don't even see anyone like speculating where they can go. In fact, he himself even in this detailed depths, because he puts in this throwaway comment about how, of course, they're not going to sign G2 Simple. And I want to tell him, bro, that's how I know you don't know the community sentiment. Right now, the community expectations for your team are so low that nobody thinks a top player's joining, that most of your own fans would snap call a Simple comeback just for the hype alone, bro. Like, they don't even have to know it would work. Like, that just feels like, hey, maybe that could change things. That could kind of throw a wrench in there. Right now, everyone just feels, I think most people, like G2's just going to be like the 12th best team or something. Like, they're going to be nothing now. It's a bummer. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.